Somewhere I Belong, Chapter 10, Apple Picking and the Doctor, Part 1. Isaac felt himself in a familiar desert surrounding. Back here again. What the hell? The familiar shadow of himself came alive and looked at him with daggers in his eyes. Okay, now what? You heard Celestia. They didn't find a way to bring me home, so now we're stuck here. I say we man up and deal with it, Isaac said as he rolled his eyes. That doesn't give you permission to become fuck buddies with the locals, the shadow spat out. So Rainbow likes me. Big deal. Like I said, humanity will eventually branch out and, do you honestly believe that? He said with a scoff. We're on another world right now. Care to explain that? The shadow was about to protest but was cut off as a blue beam pinned him to the floor. Isaac looked up in confusion to see the dark alicorn princess flying down to him. I thought I made it clear that I don't like other ponies getting inside my head, he said as he frowned. We apologize. We wish to speak with you without the others hearing, she said in an apologetic tone. What is it? He said as he rolled his eyes. The landscape shifted, so two chairs appeared before the two. Isaac took his seat, as did the princess. It's about these dreams. They remind me of myself before I became Nightmare Moon, she said in a low tone. Nightmare Moon? He said in confusion. 1,000 years ago, we tried to overthrow our sister's rule. We failed and were banished to the moon for 1,000 years, Luna said as she held her head in shame. Back up for a second. 1,000 years ago? Are you pulling my leg? Why would we joke about this? She said in an irritated tone. You've got to be kidding me. Celestia looks like she's only 32, maybe 35, and you only look a few years older than me. I'm guessing 24, 26 maybe? The dark alicorn felt her cheeks turn red at the compliment. You think we look youthful? Yeah, why? No pony has ever given us such a compliment before, Luna said as she cleared her throat. However, we are still as old as we claim. You're not joking, are you? Isaac said as he raised his eyebrows. I'm so sorry, I didn't think that you could be that old. We are still far younger than Celestia, she said with a smile. Why did you try to overthrow your sister? Isaac asked in an uneasy tone. Luna let out a sigh and looked the human in the eyes. We were envious of our sister, and how our subjects reacted to her day, while they slept through our night, she said in a low tone. The ponies showed no appreciation for our hard work, while our sister was praised. She let out a sigh and calmed herself down. We grew frustrated and angry. Eventually, all that emotion was too much to bear, and we lost control. So she sent you to the moon, for 1,000 years. She was given no choice. Nightmare Moon had all of our strength, and my sister was forced to use the elements of harmony to stop us. The elements of what? Ancient artifacts that hold the most powerful magic in all of Equestria. You've met the users, she said as she waved her hand, and an image of the 6 mayors appeared before them. Twilight and the others. Luna nodded. Still, sending your own sister to the moon for 1,000 years is a bit extreme. And how did you get out? 3 years ago, during the Summer Sun celebration, Nightmare Moon escaped and returned to Equestria. Luckily, Twilight and her friends stopped us from doing any real damage. Nightmare Moon was defeated, and we were free from her influence. So you're better now, right? We still feel guilty about what we've done, and we'll carry that with us for as long as we live. Even our subjects are scared of us, she said as a small tear formed in her eye. Isaac looked at the mare and pitied her. Trust me, I've done things I'm not proud of either. If it's any consolation, I'm not scared of you. Luna looked at the human in surprise. Truth be told, I've always preferred the night to the day, he said as he leaned back. Why? Luna asked in confusion. I always liked the night sky. I could look upon it freely. When I tried it during the day, I'd always be blinded by the sun, he said with a smile. Thank you, the mare said as she blushed. You're welcome, and here's some advice. If you live too long in the past, then you'll miss your future, he said as the landscape started to change. The ground shifted from sand to concrete, and large buildings rose from the earth. Isaac got to his feet as the alicorn mare looked in amazement at the passing people and cars buzzing through the streets. Welcome to my world. The princess looked at the human with wonder as he made his way through the streets, with the alicorn following close behind. What is this place? The two stopped in front of an old apartment building that was connected to a bar. The building was wedged between 2 other buildings and a dark alley on either side. My childhood home, Isaac said as he stepped inside. The alicorn followed him. As she entered the door, one of the human images phased through her body. Luna felt a shiver run down her spine as the image left her body. We're the ghosts in here. What is this? It doesn't feel like a dream. It's a memory, Isaac said as he walked up the stairs and made his way into a room where a man and a woman were sitting on the couch. The apartment was average size, with a kitchen. The adults sat in front of a small flickering box where a man, sitting behind a desk, was talking about the weather. Isaac sidestepped them and entered a smaller room that had a twin-sized bed against the far wall. On the bed was a small human in a dark red hoodie, holding a book in his hands, and the dark red hood over his head. That's me at 8 years old. No friends. I kept to myself, and my books were my only company, he said as he sat down on the bed next to himself. The adult man snapped his fingers, and the scene collapsed back to the desert. Why did you show us that? She said as tears started to form in her eyes. I know what it's like to feel alone and unwanted. In a way, you're like me. Someone who feels like that one piece in the puzzle that doesn't seem to fit anywhere, he said in a low tone. Luna looked in shock as the realization hit her. A small ripple went through the landscape. Time's up, he said as he raised his fingers in a snap position. We appreciate you allowing us to see this. Would thou like to do this again? She asked in a nervous tone. Sure, why not? See you then. The human snapped his fingers and the image collapsed. Isaac woke up and noticed the blue alicorn mare that was sleeping in the hospital bed was gone. Isaac stretched his arms and let out a yawn. The door opened to reveal a smiling white mare. Morning, Isaac, she said with a smile. Morning. What happened to the princess? She left an hour ago on royal canterlap business. Isaac gave a nod and quickly got to his feet. Am I free to go? He asked as he cracked his back. Yes, you have some pony waiting for you downstairs, she said with a smile. Isaac looked at her in confusion and made his way through the hospital. As he reached the lobby, he saw the friendly orange mare waiting for him, with a smile on her face. Isaac thanked the nurse and walked out of the building with Applejack by his side. How do you feel, partner? Better. A little weird, but it'll pass, he said with a smile. Where's everyone else? Twilight got some new project from the princess to work on. Rarity is filling out at least a dozen dress orders. Rainbow is covering for 3 Pegasus sick with the feather flu. Fluttershy is taking care of a sick bear, and Pinkie Pie is watching the shop while the Cakes are visiting family in Philadelphia. So you're stuck with me, she said with a smug grin. Aren't I lucky? He said in a teasing tone. Applejack slugged him in the arm and chuckled. Geez, I just got out of the hospital. I know. You up for working the farm today? I could use the help. Sure, I don't mind, he said as the two made their way to the farm. As Isaac and the orange mare made their way through town, Isaac was catching glances from mares who were looking him over and smiling. AJ, mind if we stop at Sugarcube Corner real quick? Sure, I guess. Why? I just need to ask Pinkie something, he said as the two made their way inside the sweet shop. Isaac noticed that a few mares looked at him as he entered. Pinkie was behind the counter with a smile on her face. The two walked up to the counter and had a seat. Hey, Pinkie. Hey, how you feeling? Better. A bit odd, but that's expected after a transfusion, he said as he looked at the menu. That's good. What can I get you? I'll have an egg and a quick cup of coffee, he said with a smile. Okie dokie, Loki, she said as she walked back into the kitchen. Isaac tilted the spoon next to him and looked in the reflection to see a group of mares pointing at him and whispering to one another. Here you go, Pinkie said as she handed him the food on a plate. Thanks, Pinkie. Isaac finished his food quickly and noticed that another group of mares were making the same gestures as the others were. He glanced over at AJ, who was giving them a stare that could kill a dragon. The pink mare returned to the two with the check in hand. That'll be 8 bits. Isaac handed her the bits and motioned for her and AJ to come closer in a huddle. Hey, Pinks, did you tell anyone about the conversation we had yesterday? What conversation? She asked in confusion. The one about my endurance, he said as he blushed and made quotation marks with his fingers. Oh, I told no pony about that. You're sure? I pinky promised. I never break a pinky promise, she said in a proud tone. Why are you asking, Sugarcube? AJ asked as she raised an eyebrow. See that group of mares over in the booth? He said as he motioned with his head. The mares looked over at them to see them whispering to one another. They've been eyeing me since I walked in. Same goes when we were on our way here, he said as he looked at the two mares.